Okay, so we're ready to merge our independent variables into the data file with the dependent variables. And this is a process that usually has hiccups. So again, let's go back and let's do a couple things. I've got two data files out here. I've got the micro example. I'm going to save this one as version 5. So I'm going to save the current version and go back to version 5 because this is the 5 is the one that I'm going to merge together. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I've also got this other one open, and this is the independent variable, and it's saved as version 2. So we're good on both accounts. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to match on this ICPSR value, because that ICPSR value is in both of them. So it's the one here. But the system is very touchy on how those two variables are constructed. So I'm going to do a couple things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that first ICPSR value and I'm going to move it to the top of this data file. And this one is ICPSR numeric. It's a 5-width column, and it's column width of 12, and that's okay. Everything's fine there. I just need to match that in the other one because they need to be the exact same kind of alignment in order for it to identify it as the same variable and bring it across. So this one is ICPSR numeric width of 5, but this is a column width of 8, and sometimes it'll just ask for something else. So I'm going to bump that up to 12 and make sure that it works. And so that'll work. Come back, and I'm going to save this value. Okay. The next thing that you have to do when you're merging files together is you have to go through and sort on the data file that you're actually going to merge on. So I'm going to right-click this thing and sort ascending. And so that's going to put me in that 2605 all the way down to that 99, which is the president, right? And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go to the other one. And I'm going to do this exact same thing again. I already did this, but I'm going to make sure that I do it again. All right. So I've got the files arranged in ways that I want them. I have this variable is the same. It's constructed the same in both of those files. And so I'm going to save this one. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to save that one. And I'm now ready to merge those files together. So let me stop and okay, so I have my two data files and I have both of them open. I've got the micro level sheet. This is the one where I'm going to pull those variables into. I have the independent variable sheet. This is the one with the bio names and the party code and the nominate scores. Okay. Now let's go to the micro example. They've both been sorted and saved. Everything is good. And we're just going to do this we're going to do this merge process. And it's going to go from data, and I'm going to say merge file, and I want to add variables. All right. And it's going to go out there and it's going to look for an open data set. And so independent variables is already out there. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to continue. Now it's going to match, so it's going to go through and it's going to see which variables are the exact same. So this excluded variable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to match cases on that one. Cases are sorted in variables. I'm going to click on match cases on key variables. Cases are sorted in order of key variables in both data sets. Both files provide cases, so I'm probably going to import some people who didn't have votes, but that's okay. And then I'm going to put this over here, and that's going to be my key variable, right? If I go back and I look at this data file, I'll see I have all of these variables in here, and then I get down to the ones that I created, count, support, and vote score. And then what I'm going to have is I'm going to have a whole series of new variables that I'm putting into this data set. So I'm going to have chamber, state, district code, state abbreviation, bio name, party code, dimension 1, dimension 2, and I'm going to add all those, okay? And I'm going to go through, I don't need any of that, and I'm going to click OK and cross my fingers, and hopefully this thing will work. Warning, key match will fail if data are not sorted in ascending order of key variables. Yeah, so that's why I had to sort that twice and save it and make sure that I got it right. So I'm going to click OK, And I'm going to run it, and what happened is out here I'm going to have a whole series of new votes, right? So I'm going to have like all these people in here, and some of these people are not going to have votes, right? Because they're just kind of newly added in here. So Spence didn't participate at this period of time. I don't know if they were out or whatever else. So I've got a whole bunch of kind of new people that have been added into this data set. And that's okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean up some of this data and show you, kind of get you down to the last form. So let me stop here and then I'll come back and do a little bit of cleanup and then we'll be ready. Okay, so I have my newly incorporated data. I have like all these new nominate scores out here, which I'm going to need. So as always, let's go up here and let's go up here in File, Save As, and let's save this as version 6. So this is our good file because I'm getting ready to delete some data and I want to make sure that I've got a version of that set aside. Now I incorporated, by doing that merge, I included a whole bunch of people who just didn't have observations on that vote. Either they were sick or they were out or they had already dropped out of the Congress for some other reason. So I'm going to have some people in here that I just don't really want because it's data that doesn't line up to my dependent variable. So I'm going to do some simple things here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the vote and then I'm just going to sort ascending here. And so if I look at this one, actually I'm going to right click and I'm going to sort descending. Okay, so I've got all of those, that'll go through, and it'll take me all the way down to the bottom. And I'm going to want to look at these last people, all right? So I've got some stuff going on over here. And basically, I don't have any observations for these folks. All right, so that's okay. All of these are just sort of in there, but they don't have any recorded votes. And then let's go over here. And one of them is the president, and I don't want the president in there at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to the ones that are valid, and I'm going to get rid of the rest of these. All right, so I'm going to go over here to, this is my vote score, and all of these below that, all of those below, I'm going to run up. Actually, that's not what I want to do. Select on that and then go up to there and then go all the way to the right and show, yeah, these are the ones that I want. Right? So these are vote scores of 0 and these are the other ones. Right? So go over here, right click and just clear those things. And then save that as, I'd go ahead and save it as version 7. Just in case you made a mistake or something along those lines. So now we're on version 7 of your data file. Now we have all these, we have 433, so we're missing 2 people who didn't participate. That's not too bad, really. The next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at some of these. Sometimes you've got some weird players in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by, I'm going to do a sort menu. So I'm going to vote and I'm going to sort cases by. Go down here, state, district. Okay, and so I'm going to go through here and I'm going to look at these states, and I just want to go through these districts and make sure that there's no District of Columbia here. So maybe the easier way is to do this, and I'll sort ascending here. So we got a couple, we got one Alaska, Alabama, all those. Let's go down and make sure that we don't have any DCs. Yeah, all the DC ones are gone. We have these kind of shadow ones for DC that sometimes they record votes for them and sometimes they don't. So once we have all those people out of there, we've got a clean data file, and lo and behold, we are done with this baby. The next thing that we have to do is we need to recode this, and after we're done with that, we'll be able to run some variables. So save Micro 7, and I'm going to shut this off here.